Drafted number 4 overall to the Washington Mystics. She played at Stanford. She finished her career at USC. She's got so many degrees, smart, intelligent, unbelievable basketball player. Kiki, welcome to the film study. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, first up, listen, I gotta hear about your first couple weeks. Obviously, we saw you. I mean, you looked absolutely gorgeous at the WNBA draft. I hope it was everything that you ever dreamed of because, man, you definitely looked amazing. I think you ended up with an amazing team and, organization. So thus far, up until that point, can you just catch us up on your life so far?
Yes, my life has been kind of all over the place. I'm trying to catch up on everything, moving to a new city, still finishing up school, and kind of just coming with terms of reality that I'm a professional basketball player now. So it's been a lot of mixed emotions, but I feel super grateful to be here. I've loved DC so far, and I just can't wait for us to get into season now.
I've been super impressed, obviously, with your college resume, and I look for you to be and to have an immediate impact in the WNBA. For someone that has not seen you play, or someone that asks what parts of your game are going to translate the best to the WNBA, what would you tell them?
I would say my rebounding, number one. I feel like I'm just relentless on the boards and kind of in my overall game, I'm just relentless and I compete. So I'd say number one is my rebounding. That's something that I can always rely on, whether shots are falling or they're not falling. And then my motor, I feel like I've kind of showed it a little bit in our 2 preseason games, but I can run the floor, I can seal really well. And I'm just looking to continue to add to my bag, continuing to work on my defense, bringing out the 3-point shot this year. But my coaches so far have been great and just giving me a lot of confidence to kind of showcase all that I can do and not be stuck in a box.
And your mentality, that's the thing that I think grows the most from freshman to senior year. And then starting out kind of over again, you're a freshman a little bit again. Gosh, you're still taking college classes and you're professional, meaning you're still finishing up in college, which is unbelievable. Yes. And we're not going to keep you super long because I know you have a final. But
yeah.
What can you say about your mentality, how it changed over college, and what are you trying to do this time around that can help with that element of the game?
Wow, that's such a great question. I think for me, I've struggled with confidence throughout college, and every single year, I feel like I've gotten more confident just kind of going through adversity and making my way through it. But I feel like I've just been tried and tested all throughout college. I've had 2 great coaches, been in 2 great programs, and they've taught me so much to help me feel prepared. Training camp has been hard, but I feel super prepared just by being at Stanford and being at USC. So I think for me, it's just coming in here and being a sponge, not trying to be bigger than myself and understanding that there's so much that I can learn. I haven't made it yet. But just being grateful to be in this spot, but understanding that if I have these goals and aspirations of being one of the greatest in the league one day, I have to be humble and understand that there's still so much work for me to do. So kind of just being a sponge and taking it in from all of my vets and the women that I'll be playing against this season as well.
Can I add one thing that I wish someone would have told me when I got into the league? And you're
Yes.
going to go through the emotional ups and downs. There is going to be a lull in the season where you question your preparation, you question what you're doing. Stay with it. Because I think sometimes we take ourselves out of the game by mentally telling ourselves, I'm in a shooting slump or I'm whatever. Really be honest with yourself of what you're telling you. And is it constructive? Is it something that you can fix? Is it something within your control? And if it's not, then the quicker you let it go, the quicker you can get to the next place in your game, which I think is going to be, the sky is the limit. I remember meeting you when you were, goodness, you hadn't even started, I don't think, at Stanford when I met you at a workout.
Yeah.
And just watching your size, your ability, your length, your athleticism, your feel for the ball. So your future is extremely bright. Don't get in your own way of your future being bright. So we're going to start with this pick and roll play, which has been a part of the game that I think you have developed year to year. Obviously playing in a different type of offense in Lindsay Gottlieb at USC. I think your role changed throughout the year a little bit. You're still a go-to player, but I think, obviously as the shooting got better, or as, you know, you guys were sometimes not shooting so well from beyond the arc, it showed different parts of your game and what you're able to do. So right here, we saw a lot of this, and this I want to stop. Because you talk about a motor, okay? But there's very few post players that will run out and cause the defense to collapse that you're not going to benefit from. And I saw you do that all the time, and I feel like that's a sacrifice that is something that needs to be celebrated. So you run out, you draw two, and then right here, I absolutely love this. You're going to do this over and over, and I'm sure in your Washington Mystics offense, this is what you're doing. Yes. The hand back, screen, there's contact, and then it's direct to the basket. I want to run that back. So can you take me through?
Shout out Avery. That was a good pass.
That was a nice pass. See, you being a great teammate already.
Yes.
So you're the first post down, and you come back up to set the up screen. So take me through this play right here.
Yeah, I felt like Avery could have had the advantage. Like, the defense wasn't set up. I actually wanted her to just dribble off of me and not even hand it off, but she's someone that likes to touch pass a little bit more. And then I think the key for me last season was being a better screener. So making sure I'm hitting bodies, and I feel like that's how we were able to create a 2-on-1 opportunity. And, you know, that post player kind of has to decide, am I going to stop the ball? Am I going to take the roller? So it was honestly, how can I get Avery open? And then it turned into I was open at the end.
100%. And then your head straight to the basket. I think that's the biggest thing, too. And you're calling for the and one, of course, you know. You got to finish through contact. I like that. But right here on this play, your screen, you look at this right here. This right here, that's contact. And then you getting out of it.
Yeah.
So the pocket pass is something that over and over and over and over again, you're going to hear in the WNBA. Like, you think about Asia Wilson, think about De'Erica Hamby, you think about other post players, Brianna Stewart, she's popping a little bit more, but Brianna Stewart, Elena Deladon, who played for the Mystics for years and years.
Yes.
That's how they made their entire career. How they made their bread was just the pocket pass. You look at somebody like a Jokic in the NBA, that's how he makes his living, is that pocket pass. And so when you are able to set screens like that and roll with your athleticism, good luck, defense. Good luck. And then we're going to roll the next one, which is what I love, that right shoulder. So here, this is kind of delayed. Again, I want to talk about this because, again, you're the first post down. Is that your intent every single time down the court, is to be one of the first post players down?
Yes, I actually, like, if I'm playing with another big, I try to have them take it out so that I can run the floor. I think a lot of the times I get mismatches in transition, so it's just about me connecting with my guards and making sure that they see me in transition. But I think in the low block, ceiling, being the first post down, like, I'm really good at that. So as much as I can, I'm running. And I think that started with Tara, because my freshman year, she was like, you better run that floor if you want to play.
Well, that's a good motivation. Okay, so Coach Tara, thanks for motivating and turning her into the beast that she is. Right here, we're going to play You're Patient. Do not undervalue how long it took for you to get to this point from freshman to senior year. Because if you look back at clips from your freshman year, I'm sure you did not have this patience. Am I wrong?
At all. At all.
At all. And so I think sometimes when we're transitioning to another stage, we like to speed up and we're rushing and we're trying to, sometimes it's, you take your patience and you survey and you make the defense guess wrong, right? So on this play right here, you could have went right away, and guess what? You'd have probably had 2 or 3 defenders ready. Here, you take your patience, you point, you tell your teammate to give you space, and then you get to that nice, beautiful, I was like Dirk-like right there, fadeaway jump shot with that right leg up. So when did you develop this? First of all, let's talk about your pace. When did you develop that? What year was it?
I think pace is something that I'm still working on. It's getting better every single year. I'm slowing it down, but there's still times where I see myself a little bit rushed when I have my defender beat, but I'm kind of speeding myself up. But it's because I'm just so excited. Like, I already play fast. So I think for me, it's still growing in my pace and understanding that. And that's something that my coaches here have kind of told me is, like, slow is pro. And they're like, you'll start to understand that the more that you play at this level. So I think I'm still working on my pace, but definitely has gotten better. And I would say My junior year at Stanford was when I kind of let the game come to me and I didn't really force anything. And that's when I was able to get into things like this because I kind of let the play develop. I wasn't like, I have the ball, now I have to score. So I would say like my junior year is when I really had an epiphany in terms of basketball, having a better IQ and kind of just reading the defense as opposed to just having my mind made up on stuff.
Well, in adding to that, I tell Kiki every day, I'm thankful that you're on my team because I don't want to guard you for a real game. She's such a beast. That's what your teammate Cameron Brink said about you in 2023. Aww. Well, guess what? Fast forward, she's going to have to guard you at some point now as you're playing for the Mystics and she's playing for the Sparks. But to her point, I think that pace, that IQ, all of that are elements of why you're going to be so tough to guard at the next level because you said slow is pro or pace is pro. I don't know what you said. You dropped a bar, but you said... What? Tell me what you said because I'm gonna steal it.
Slow is pro. My coach Barb Turner.
Okay, so slow is pro, and I think as a result you're able to get to the spot on the court, which is what every post player dreams of, being able to get to that kind of like mid post area.
I have a question for you actually. When is it like a time where you're like, no, you actually want to race the defense and attack versus like, let me slow it down? Or is it just you read the defense? Like, when do you know when it's like, I got to go versus slowing it down?
Well, I think it's a mix up, right? So you start off not rushing with your first touch. That's what I always did.
Okay.
You make sure you get to your spot, you get comfortable, things like that. And then you can bait them. They're at your mercy. So then when you're slow, they kind of react to everything. So you're able to give them a shimmy and go the other way. But I really feel like it's about making the defense guess wrong. So if you're high side and you want me to go baseline, I'm going to take you where I don't want to go to go where I want to. And so I think it's really playing games with yourself. Like if you look at me in my career, these are the spots that I had to learn to get to. So on the court, I could get to these spots so many different ways. I mean, like you said, it could be just like a rim run and you're out. It could be a pocket pass where a lot of the pocket passes come, which in your offense in college, you ran a lot of pocket pass right there. Or it could just straight up be like you did on the last play where I give up ground to then be able to get to my spot. So like by giving up ground, maybe I run shallow and I'm able to step off and then I know how to get to my spot. So I think you'll learn every time. Everything is different. They might guard you with a big that's slower. Then you know you got to go fast. They might guard you with an undersized post player that is quicker than you. Well, maybe not quicker than you, but like quicker. And you might now want to settle in. So I think it's also your matchup and knowing like who you're playing against. If you're playing against another rookie, you might want to give them a pump fake because they're going to jump and be, and not be disciplined on the defensive end.
Excited,
so,
yeah.
There you go. I think it's also like, studying your film and making sure that you know just as much as you know how you're going to guard somebody, how they're going to guard you. All right, that mid-range, that's where I think USC is where you really kind of showed your versatility as a post player. Here you go away from the action, a little screen, and then this is your ISO. And everybody knows, but good luck stopping it, that you like touching that ball with your left hand. You love that left side of the floor on the court right here.
Yes.
And so right here, when you're catching, I know this might be a subtlety that you don't even realize you do as a player, but the hardest thing for a defender to guard is that right pivot when you're right-handed. Like that is so hard. And I don't even think you understand what you're doing on this play. Because a lot of times your pivot foot is usually your left foot if you're right-handed. So to be able to switch up your pivot foot like this, it puts the defense at a complete disadvantage on this play. And it allows you to get to your spot quicker. Is this something that you worked on in the off season a lot? Because it seemed like this was a lot smoother this year.
Yeah, I think my junior year was when I first started doing it kind of inconsistently, but I was like, okay, I'm capable. And then this past summer, getting ready for my senior year, I was like, this is something that I want to showcase as I continue to stretch the floor. And at times, I think I settled a little bit too much for the jumper. Like, I love a mid-range jumper, but it's something that I'm really comfortable with, especially going with my left hand, which is kind of weird because I wouldn't say I feel comfortable. Like, if you were to put me in like a dribbling drill, I feel comfortable with my right hand. But like when I watch film, people always tell me it's like always on the left side. But just making sure that I wasn't in the low block, making sure that I could stretch the floor a little bit more was like a point of emphasis for me going into my senior year.
Well, you're definitely able to take advantage of this ISO and, you know, being able to have the ability to play in space at the next level is definitely going to benefit your game. No secret,
gosh.
this is an offensive foul. So, you know, I love hard, but some of my love hard is points of growth, as my daughter and I call it. Areas of growth. So right here, I think that you did this a lot when you were younger, where you decided where you wanted to go and how you were going to get there. I think your evolution has come that you've decided where you want to go, but you didn't determine how you're going to get there. So you react of how you're supposed to get there. Your skill set reacts. Right here, there's a handoff, and you want to go this way. You get the rebound. Great. You decide that you're going to get the ball back to Juju no matter what. Okay? And so you get the moving screen. So here's the thing. What I would love to see you do, especially if they're going to guard it this way, when you're playing in this area, instead of dribbling at Juju, which is up the floor, I guarantee there would be a reaction if you dribbled in a little bit more off the sideline. Do you know what I mean? And then you're able to already use the space to provide it. Because I think that sometimes when the ball gets stuck on one side of the floor, the defense is able to load up and things like that. So on this instance, I understand Juju is Juju and you want to get the ball to her, but I think it's, you know, understanding what the defense is doing and taking that. I just love this. I have to show this reaction right here. This reaction right here. Right here is my favorite part right there. That
I'm
right there.
up.
Like, she knew it. She knew this was going to be on film the next day. You didn't know it was going to be on film study, but this is the film. No, but there weren't many areas, so we had to nitpick on that one. All right. So we got the next one, which is demonstrating your outstanding motor. So right here on this one, you're running early. You're sealing up the lane. You are decisive. You are physical. You are finishing with the offhand. Take me through this possession right here. I'm going to just run the tape. Hold on. Let me rewind it back. This right here, up ahead. Pause it.
I already had my player beat.
Yep.
So I was like, I'm going to get this ball by any means necessary. It was also senior night, so I feel like I already came into the game with a ton of energy and was like, I'm just going to have fun tonight, which I think is when I play my best, is when I'm playing with joy. But in this particular play, I had already beat my player. I beat one of my other teammates' players, so I was like, if I'm not getting this ball, I've at least collapsed the defense so somebody else is going to get the ball. So it was just like, let me get to that spot. If I have 2 feet in the paint, then it's pretty much up to me to make a move. But if I was a little bit off the block, then I feel like that's when the patience comes in. Like, let me see how they're playing me. Let me see if a teammate cuts. But if I'm 2 feet in the paint, I feel like it's up for grabs for me to go to work.
Got that right. Right here. Go to work then. This right here, seal. How can she not throw you the ball? Look at that. Big seal, big numbers. And what I love is you already know what you're going to do. There is space. You're not waiting. You understand you already have the disadvantage. You're closing the gap. Because guess what? As defenders, we want space because we want to be able to contest, especially when you get in a position like this without fouling. But you taking up and eating that space as an offensive player puts a lot of pressure on the defense. And then again, you get into that left turnaround right there with the offhand. I love that. Call that a little crab dribble. Yep. High five right there. Yep. Okay. And then we going to pull up to the scene with our last clip right here. This pull up.
I see what you did there.
Oh, you know, see, yeah. See, I'm not as old as I am. Right here, the pocket pass. Again, you're going to see this a lot. I'm sure you're running this in training camp right now. pocket pass, your other post player rolls, guess what? You're going to come across and rise. If I'm nitpicking, you got to be a little earlier. Maybe Coach Golub told you not to be, but maybe just be a little bit earlier on this rise so that you're catching the ball right now. Okay, so you're coming up. It's a 3-player switch, which makes them be a little bit late because it is a 3-player switch. So by 3-player switch, I mean number 4, who is guarding the post player, is then going to help, and then her buddy post player is going to take the other rolling post out of the pocket, and then number 4 is going to pop up and take you. So you know that they're going to be late to the scene. And guess what? You pull up to the scene and you're ready to take and make that shot. So what at the next level do you think is going to change about that?
I think 1, getting there faster, because people are big, people are as athletic or if not more than I am. So I think it's being intentional, not overthinking, but like I have to have a high basketball IQ. I can't just rely on my athleticism anymore. But I feel like 1, that's a shot that I'll continue to take, continue to shoot. But I think there's also needs to be counters because, as I said, people are long. So like guarding a BG, which I had to do a few days ago, I'm like, wow, like she's tall, she's big, but maybe doing a shot fake, blowing by, but not being just so in love with that move, understanding that if they take it away, how can I still get to what I need to without being stuck in that spot?
No, I like that. And I think the only thing that I would add would be that shot is going to be a 3 just because of the space within WNBA. So that shot, instead of rising there, you're going to see a lot of the rise come from behind the 3-point arc. And so my biggest thing for you is be confident in that. You got to take it. You got to take it to make it. That's my thing. And as much as you can seek out catch and shoot looks, because that's going to make things easier for your whole game. So as much as you can get in the gym and work on that, catch and shoot and being able to knock that down really opens up so many other parts and elements of your game. Okay, so obviously we understand that you have a final, so we're not going to keep you forever, but we do have a surprise for you from somebody pretty cool.
So much I could say about Kiki's college career. I would say the number one way in which she evolved is that she went from playing a role at Stanford to becoming a star and then stepping into a high-powered, high-pressured star role with us with big expectations. I think that she expanded her game in a lot of ways, making plays away from the basket, off the bounce. Her jumper is automatic, stretching it out to 3 a bit. Then I would say offensive rebounding translates at every level all the time. She led the Pac-12 in offensive boards. She then led the Big Ten in offensive boards. I wouldn't be surprised if she ends up leading the W in that category at some point. The other thing that I think makes her extremely pro-ready is her joy, her motor, her mind. She can learn quickly while still being, like I said, an explosive athlete who can just second jump quickly, run the floor quickly. We are so proud of her. Kiki, congratulations on beginning your rookie season with the Mystics. I've already been tuned in to every preseason game and can't wait to watch as the regular season kicks off. Fight on and go Mystics always.
That was so sweet. Thank you, guys.
No problem. Listen, leading up to your debut in the WNBA, I wish you all the best. I think that the advice I would give you is game 1 is no more important than game 27 and game 33. So obviously you're going to have nerves. You're going to have the butterflies. That's all good. That means that, you want it and you're passionate about it. But my biggest thing for you is just enjoy the moment. You got to have that next play mentality, whether it's the next play coming off a bad play or the next play coming off a good play. So I'm looking for you. I'm going to challenge you, though. I'm going to challenge you. I want you to be top 5 in double-doubles in the WNBA this year.
I want that for me, too. I love that challenge. I love it.
All right. Who are you most looking forward to facing in the WNBA?
I'm looking forward to facing everybody, but on the real,
Okay.
I am excited to play against Asia, someone that I've looked up to since I really started playing basketball. And then I'd also say Fee. Like, I feel like I can see aspects of myself in both of those players, and they're two of the best in the world. So I think just playing against the best only makes you better. So I'm excited for the challenge in that.
Well, it's super exciting to watch you obviously transition from college to the WNBA. I wish you all the best. You're playing an amazing, impactful position. I'm not biased at all, but you're playing an impactful position at the four. Understand that you hold the keys in your hands on the offensive end and the defensive end because you're in so many actions. But I look forward to watching you play, and thanks for sitting down with me at Film Study.
Thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun.